Okay, well, hello and welcome to our AxonOps Masterclass, where today we're going to be featuring Cassandra Restore to any cluster using three real-life use cases. Now, if you've not met me before, my name's Steve Benton. I lead the community and customer engagement here at AxonOps, and I'm going to be your host for today's masterclass. So this session is a practical session. It's going to be demo-led. And as I said, it's an AxonOps Masterclass, and we're going to be focusing on backing up data from one Apache Cassandra cluster and restoring it to another. Now, we're going to keep the slides to a minimum, and we're going to focus on the live demos and show how to perform cross-cluster backups and restores using AxonOps. Now, along with new features that enable fast and repeatable outcomes. All right, so that's the plan for today. Now, to host a masterclass, we need a master. So let me introduce our expert master joining us today, one of the best in the business. We've got Joaquim Caesarus. So welcome, Joaquim.
Hi. So let me go ahead and start. So here, let me share my screen if you wouldn't mind, Steve.
Sure.
Perfect. Thank you. I do have a few slides, so that way it's a little bit easier to kind of see things here. Let me sorry, move that out of the way. Hi, I'm Joaquin Gassides, the Senior Solutions Architect here at AxonOps. I was formerly at DataStax, employee number 9, saw that grow to 140 people. So I ran support. 15 of the Fortune 100 companies were under me at the time. Did a software engineering test on the Cassandra drivers, and a demo engineer for a little bit at the end. Was also the last pickle. It was a small company, but yeah, I was Cassandra engineer there. Saw a lot of problems. Since then, been at Adobe, blockchain to companies, a green tech startup. And here at AxonOps, I do a little bit of everything. The webinars, you set a support ticket, you have a feature request, a little bit of QA. If you ever need to chat about things about what we do, feel free to reach out. We do unified monitoring operations for Cassandra and Kafka. So big data all the time.
That's great. Thanks for
Mhm.
that, Joaquim. I'm going to just flick back now to
For
my
sure.
screen, if we may. Okay, so as you said, Joaquim's with us today, and Joaquim's our Senior Solutions Architect at AxonOps. So there we go. Now, before we dive in, I've got one slide. I promise you this is the only one marketing slide we got, but just in case some of you are not aware of, well, who's AxonOps? What do we do? Let me just share this really quickly. So AxonOps provides powerful software and support for unified monitoring and operations across Cassandra and also now across Kafka clusters. And there's going to be more databases as well coming online in the future. Now, we do all of this through a single pane of glass. That's really where the power is. Now, frustrated by the lack of reliable tooling, our team of veteran data platform experts built AxonOps to ensure mission critical platforms stay healthy and resilient. So there we are. There's a little bit about us and who we are. I'm going to stop sharing just for a second there. But listen, if you just joined us, we've got many people. We've got nearly 100 people that registered. We've got many people coming on with us live. If you've just joined us, you've not missed too much. We've just done a few introductions. We're going to be getting straight into this very shortly. But if you just joined, fantastic to see you. We are recording the sessions. I will be personally getting back to you all after this. Those that are listening live and those that are registered and maybe are listening on demand, just to follow up with you and also sharing the link with you as well. Now, we hope this is going to be a good masterclass, but we don't want just a good masterclass. We want a great masterclass. And the way we get it going from being good to great is by having your participation. So you, our audience, we would love you to participate. Now, one of the ways that you can do that is to use your Q&A box on your console, and you can ask us questions. We want to ask Joaquim as many questions as possible. Now, this could be about something he's particularly saying, it could be around the whole backup and restore area, or it could just be something generally on Cassandra. Maybe there's something that you just want a question to, bit of free consulting, why not? pop it in the Q&A box, and we'll do our best. And Joaquin is going to pause every now and again, and we are going to look for your questions because we do want to have a great masterclass today. Now, one of the other ways that we can that you can be involved is by engaging with our polls. Now, we haven't got many today; we've just got a few, but we are going to launch our first poll. So let me get that ready for you now. And this is just to find out a little bit more about you before we get going. You've found out a little bit about us. We would love to learn a little bit about you. So do you currently, this is the question, do you currently have a backup solution for Cassandra? Do you currently have a backup solution? Maybe it's a yes. If it's a yes, then click yes. Maybe you're planning to do it soon. Okay, and maybe you don't think you need it because you've already got replication built in. Quite a lot of people we often find may say that to us when we ask that question. So here we go. We've got 80% of the audience is with a yes. It's interesting. 20% with a no. If you've not voted quickly, because we're gonna end the poll very shortly, and we want to know if there's anybody that thinks they don't need to have it. And we've got a few more coming in. We've got 73, 20, 27 now towards yes. We're going to end the poll and share the results. Here we go. Let's have a look, see what we're saying. So 73% Joaquin said they've got a backup solution. Brilliant. That's great. Maybe you want to pop on your Q&A a comment on what that backup solution is. We could have a look at that a bit later on. Be interesting to see what actually that is. And nobody thinks that they've already got backup because they've got replication built in. So there we are. So we'll stop sharing there. Now I think we're going to do one more quick poll, and then Joaquin, you're going to go straight in. So let's just go back a second and let's see. We've got question 2. All right. Okay. So question 2, I'm going to launch now. Seeing as most of you do have a backup solution, well, it's a great question for a follow-up. So what is your backup cadence? Do you back up quarterly? Do you do it monthly? I mean, if it's yearly, then you could just go for quarterly. I think that's the largest one that we got at the top there. Maybe you do it monthly. Maybe it's weekly, daily. Maybe it's hourly, maybe it's minute by the minute. We've got quite a few here to choose from. Maybe you just do it when you need to do it. Maybe it's a manual process. Or maybe you just don't think you need to have it because you've got replication. I don't think anyone's going to go for that one. They're not trick questions, by the way. And there are no kind of real right questions here either. It's just to gauge a little bit of understanding and an insight really from our audience today, of which we've got many joining us. So if you just joined, welcome. We're recording the session, so don't worry about that. You'll get the link to it shortly afterwards. Right, I'm going to end the poll. So if you haven't voted, quickly vote. I'm going to end the poll now. We're going to jump straight in for me to share the results. Here we go. Nobody's doing it quarterly or more than that. Some monthly, 10% monthly. We got 30% doing it weekly. Most are doing it daily, Joaquin. Quite interesting. Any thoughts on any of those?
No, I wasn't expecting for so many people to be doing it daily. So I'm really excited to hear that. Some of our worst cases, they never do backups, and that's really concerning. So,
right. Okay. Well, we've got 80% of our audience are backing up, or 75% are backing up, and 60% of those are doing it daily. So that's a pretty good place to be. All right. So let's stop sharing. Joaquin, I'm going to hand it over to you, sir. So take us away on your magical masterclass for today.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, let me move my windows around one more time. I'm going to try sharing just one screen, and I might share the rest of the screen later if we need to. But let me get this up.
And while you're getting that up, don't forget, everybody, get your Q&A, get your questions coming in. Just really quickly, someone says, my current backup solution is all custom using Ansible and Python. Medusa didn't work out for us. Interesting.
Oh, that is good to know. It would be great to chat more, but hopefully I'll show you what we have and you like it.
Okay.
But yeah, so what I have here, it's a 3-node cluster. I'm just gonna click my pages really quick so they're up and loaded. It's a 3-node cluster. I just launched in our dev environment. This is a Cassandra cluster, so I am currently testing this to make sure that AxonOps works with Cassandra. So if you are a Cassandra user, that's where we're headed on our side. So yeah, it's a 3-node Cassandra cluster. Here's the UI. I have my 3 nodes, the agents up on all of them, and everything looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and start. So I have my backup tab here, and what we're going to do is set a schedule. So right now I have one data center MC2, and what you can do is you can go ahead and click this button, and that will create that backup for us immediately. And you can see our
Joaquin,
backup
can I just jump in because we're not really seeing a full screen mode. Are you able to go into a bigger screen mode there?
Is that better? Or what are you seeing? Are you seeing my browser?
Well, it's not really covering the whole screen, so I don't know if you're able to make that any larger at all. If not, don't worry, it's cool. That's fine. There we go.
Okay.
That's better. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, there we go.
Oh.
Yeah, nearly there.
Okay.
Keep going.
So do you see black on the sides?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, your screen is about here at the moment. Yeah, it's about 3/4 across, but that's fine. Carry on.
Looks good. Okay, cool. Yeah, so here we see that we did have a backup which is started manually. So we're pretty much running no tool snapshot. We aren't backing it up externally, but we could do that fairly easily. So we have this going here. We could have our remote backups options set. And when we do that, you can back it up to a different local file system. So if you are running like a NAS, and you're never supposed to write your data directly to a NAS, but if you want to move all your snapshots to a NAS network attached storage, you could always go that route. We also support S3 compatible data stores, Google Cloud, Azure. So really like your choice. But in this case, I'm going to go with an SFTP server. So this SFTP server I already have set up. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my host, my user, and I did go ahead and previously upload my PEM file to all of those machines. It needs to be readable by the Cassandra user, and in Apache Cassandra, this is where we put a little bit of our tooling. And when I do back it up, I do want to go ahead and back it up to my home directory under Backup Masterclass 2. So I'll go ahead and run a quick test on that. And yeah, perfect. So we do have access. We did upload a single test file. So yeah, the things look like they're working. So I could go ahead and create a backup from here. And that was a one-off. It's not scheduled. But if we want to do a schedule, very easily click on this. It remembers all your settings, which is kind of nice because sometimes screens wipe everything out. And we have a really, really nice UI that our UI guy did. I really love it. So we could do it every hour, every day, only on select months if we want to, and it goes through and does that for us. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Let's see. Yeah, every hour seems about right. So I will go ahead and create scheduled backup. And with that, here's our scheduled backup. We can always go ahead and change it. We could add a tag perhaps. So we'll do hourly backups. That, and now we have a nice little tag going. And we can also run that backup too. So if we need something a little bit manual, but we've already set it up, we have certain data centers, maybe select key spaces, we could always manually trigger a scheduled one, and we don't have to go through the whole process of remembering where those PEM files are, where the right location for the data is going to be, because that is always stored here. Yeah, so with here, we have our backup, backup history going, and we do have an error. It says, can't find the key. I thought I had uploaded that already, but let me just do that really quickly one more time. Of course, this is a live demo. I tested it multiple times, but that's not how things ever work. So let me send that over one more time over here. One second. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's being sent over, but for now, it seems like the other ones are working, so I'm going to leave 134 alone, and I'll probably just restore to 11 just to make things easier. Let's see. Well, it's on there. I could always try re-upload. see if that helps us any. But yeah, on top of it, we do have point in time restore. In order to do point in time restore, we do have midlog archiving. So if we want to, we can go ahead and do the same sort of thing where we're going to back up our data center, 1 week retention policies, because we are backing up every hour, but maybe we want very, very unique point in time where some issue happens at 10:50 as opposed to, 11, we did ingest a lot of data, within the last hour, and you do want to keep that data, you do something like this. In order to do that, we pretty much run through the same settings where remotely we want SFTP. We can go ahead and set our base directory. We definitely have to give it our key file. And other than that, user, host. Pull that off to the side. And now every commit log that's being written will be sent over as well into that same backup directory. So it's all going to be unified, and we have metadata files with that. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a little bit. But any questions on the configuration part of both backing up our snapshots or performing our snapshots, backing those up remotely, and also the ability to ingest commit logs as they're being written? Any questions on there, Steve?
I think we've got one coming in from David. So thanks for your questions, David. And just to encourage everybody else, if you just joined, we've still got people coming in. Just another one that's dropped in now. So listen, keep your questions coming, and we are recording the session as well. So yeah, David P has said, is there a way? Well, actually, rather than me read it out, why don't you have a look at it, Joaquin, because you can see it all there. But basically, is there a way to say all DCS so that you can have a single global snapshot, snapshot name / UUID for all nodes of a multiple DC cluster? So it's basically, can we consolidate all the DCSs?
So you can go ahead and set the same parameters for both of them. I believe this is a drop down, but if I'm not mistaken, I think it converts to being able to select multiple data centers. I haven't seen that UI in a minute, but I can confirm. Actually, 1 second. Let me confirm that really quick. I'm going to hop onto a customer I've been talking with lately. Just take a quick peek at those settings. No, that is one data center at a time. But you can go ahead and set them up to be at the same location because they are going to be bucketed in directories by host ID. So those host IDs will never cross paths, and I'll get into that shortly.
So Joaquin, is that the same as Medusa then? Just a bit of follow up there from David P. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was at Last Pickle when we were creating Medusa, and I remember it being roughly the same where we go by host. And I don't think we had anything at the data center level, at least at the time. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So let me go ahead and continue. Yeah. So for some reason, maybe when I was transferring that file over, but it's okay. We'll just stick with 11. But yeah, so we have nice entries here, and the nice thing is I could go and show you our alerts. So we do have an alerts panel that detect anything that's wrong within our event logs. So we are going through and looking at everything happening, and we could go and debug a little bit further. It's pretty much, yeah. Okay, I will look at that. But again, we're testing this on Cassandra to make sure it's very, very robust on that side too. And yeah, so you can go ahead and look at your event logs, see what happened, see when we created our backups, a full auditing both on our AxonOps product as well as our Cassandra logs too. And yeah, here's a quick little dashboard. There were issues raised a little bit long ago, but yeah, this is what they are. And yeah, so when we go to our store, we can go ahead and it's very simple. It's very clicky. We have this, we want to restore all our key spaces, or maybe we just want to select, restore select key spaces. And with that, we can go ahead and hit the remote restore. So we can either restore locally, whatever's on disk, if our retention policy is still within that time of 10 days in this specific case. We don't have to stream that over from S3 or anything, but if we're outside of that retention policy, then we might need to go ahead and do that remote restore. And we'll go ahead and kick that off right now. Typically, what you want to do is turn off your Cassandra cluster, remove the data from there, and restore it. But if you do it live, which we don't really recommend, but in some cases, just easier, and that's what like your business case, will work for it. We can go ahead and pull those SS tables down, and we'll do a node tool refresh essentially. And with that, you can go ahead and see our node status. We already have 7 of them working. So this is completed in 3 seconds, restoring from an SSH server, pulling all of those tables down. And then again, it's a new cluster. And then we have a few more pending. Click on that one more time. And we have 17 of the 48. So yeah, so this is how easy it is to do that part. And then for point in time restore, this is something that we're currently working on right now. Again, we're still testing it. So I do want to take the time to go ahead and show off a demo that AxonOps Cloud. Let me put that in the chat really quick so everyone else could have a quick play with it. So if you go ahead and click on that Open Cassandra dashboard, you'll be able to see a view of this actual cluster that I'm running through. So I've actually signed in on our admin account here. I'll pick that up a little bit. And with that, you have additional options. So under Restore, we can go ahead and have point in time restore. You won't see the Restore tab since you're a read-only user. And here we can go ahead and zoom into exactly the time frame we want. So this is the now time frame. Here's 5 snapshots that recently happened. We can go through and say, yeah, well, things were going well, but I want to restore here. And that's right now, because these snapshots are being taken every hour. I know we're a little bit past that hour. And I can go ahead and select the key space I want, the exact time. So maybe, change that a little bit slightly. Let's see, put that back over here. And it does a status check, make sure it can write to those directories, gives a little bit of detail as to what's going to be transferred, which tables. We can make sure everything's fine. And then at this point, it does get a little bit more involved. You go ahead and truncate those tables while it's live. You stop Cassandra on the full cluster. And then you go ahead and delete commit logs too, and it will go ahead and restore all your SS tables, all your commit logs. Everything's back to that state right before a malicious actor did something, someone fat fingered a command. You get a whole bunch of data based on the application error that kind of scrambled everything. And you pop it back up, and your Cassandra, without having to move your infrastructure, your networking, pop up new nodes, do security updates, all those processes. We're running on the same cluster with the same data that we had a while ago. But yeah, I find this is really nice and something that I don't think Medusa offers, or at least at the time I looked, doesn't offer. But yeah, point in time restore, pretty much combining your SS tables and your commit logs for any time that you want.
So, Joaquin, we've got some questions coming in. Should we just pause
perfect.
for a second? Is that all right with you? Good timing.
Perfect.
Okay. Conrad S. Thank you, Conrad, for your question. So Conrad says, can you view audit login through the dashboard?
Yes, you can. So we have all of our logs here, and you can see anything that I did. So I updated some cluster templates. If I go ahead and send different sort of requests, everything does get logged. The nice thing about it is we do have integrations. So we can go ahead and set up Slack alert, page duty, like for audit logs, probably not page duty, but we do have Slack alerts on certain large customers, so that we, everything goes there. It's logged, it's very visible, everyone knows. And we can go ahead and route specific pieces there. So we could have certain things going to that channel, certain things not going to that channel, and you can also do it based on info levels. So maybe you have 2 things being logged, but you don't want everything in pager duty, and you want other things going to Slack. But yeah, definitely possible.
Yeah. Conrad was just following up there. Thanks, Conrad. Again, keep them coming. So he said example Cassandra audit logging, example execution times of queries, and Cassandra user. Is that what you just showed there, or is that something different?
No, that is something different.
All right. Okay.
We don't like those sort of logs. Excuse me.
Okay.
First of all, that is a lot of data to ingest. So we don't want to be ingesting all that data. If you do self-host it, you could definitely do that. No problem at all. We will support that. Your Elasticsearch cluster just has to be large enough to be able to take in that load and still be able to run those search queries. But we also don't want that data because that's going to have a lot of PII. We assume it could be a security risk, a compliance risk, because we're going to be getting all of your users, all of their addresses, and that entire query that you want to audit. So we don't personally want it, but we do support self-hosting, and you could do that there, and we feel safer if you do that there, just for security purposes.
Yeah, he was just saying there, is there a self-hosting option?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this runs on our infrastructure, like anything on AxonOps Cloud. We do have customers that would rather, in the banking sector and certain telcos and things like that, they might want to run that on their side. And yeah, we totally support that. We help with the setup process and everything in between.
Great. Okay, so thank you for that, Conrad. We've got a question as well. Another one from David P. Thank you, David. Keep them coming as well. Right. Does this restore use stable loader, I think that is, type logic or node tool refresh type logic?
Mm-hmm.
So
So
is it
in this,
stable loader type logic or node tool refresh type logic?
for sure. So in this case, because this is a different cluster, let me not play with that one. This one I can break. Since this was these nodes are on, that is the reason why we go ahead and use sstable refresh, because we went in and swapped out those sstables, and now we're telling Cassandra node tool refresh, my bad. Because we're telling Cassandra, go ahead and forget the sstables you were looking at and look at these new ones that are now on disk. We would much rather you turn off Cassandra, run that remote restore, and on load or on restarting, that's when it loads up those SS tables. I will show a few more options that we have for the more advanced features that do work with SS table loader. So in this specific case, it's node tool refresh, but we'll talk about SS table loader in just a bit.
Great. Thanks for that, Joaquin. Thank you, David, as well. Yeah, I've got that SS table loader. Probably pronounced that wrong there before. Sorry about that, everyone.
A little bit.
All right. Okay. All right. So, well, look, keep your questions coming in. As I said, if you've just joined us, we've got still people that have come in. Don't worry, you're late. You can catch up on the first bit at the start when we send the recording out, because we are going to be recording the session as well. So don't worry about that. Yeah, keep your questions coming in, and we'll carry on. Joaquin, what else have you got for us?
Perfect. Yeah, so just to wrap up that last section, we've now updated all those S tables that are now on disk. We've restored all those tables. Took about a minute. There was a lot of S table activity apparently. But yeah, it takes a few seconds. But again, empty cluster, toy cluster, longer in production, But we transfer that over as quickly as your network and Cassandra YAML settings permit. Yeah, on that front, if you ever want to go ahead and take a look at your settings, you can go ahead and do that here. Our compaction, let's see, our streaming settings are 24 megabytes per second, which is the default. And you're always able to really quickly just kind of monitor. I've already searched for throughput, so I could swap between all the different nodes. Maybe one of them's misconfigured. Yeah, so this is how quickly you can go and transfer based on those settings and your network. I do see a question. Are there any plans on implementing a full solution, including repair schedule? Yes. So repair schedule. We do have repairs here. We do have active repairs. So this is a little bit different than Reaper. And Reaper is something that's been around for a while. When I was in support, I was recommending Reaper. So that was 2011 to 2013 or something. Adaptive repairs are a lot smarter, and I really like them. The reason for that is we can go ahead and do these repairs. Oh, let me turn that off first. We can select tables that we don't want to repair, first of all. So if there's ever a super large table, you want to be a little bit more cautious with it, or it could be just kind of log data that you really don't care if you lose a little bit, but it does cause a strain on the system. We could just go ahead and completely exclude that bit. So we could do that. We could run a number of concurrent repair processes. So sometimes we want to increase that because we know we can handle it, but other times, if you're already under provision, you don't want to push that too hard. You could change that here. Yeah, any table that's less than a day, we won't repair by default, because that's typically system tables and stuff like that, and that's always changing and populated by gossip. But if you have your own settings, feel free to change that. Retry the segment. Sometimes you have really large partitions and you just know it's just going to keep trying. It's not going to make its way through. Yeah, feel free to increase that. Also don't use partitions that large. But yeah, and yeah, we go ahead and set that. Pretty much just go. Here, you have unsave changes. What's happening with save changes? Please save changes or discard. I'll just discard these for now. And we can go ahead and set that up. So what it will do is it will split up all of your tables based on a target segment size in megabytes. And we're going to, that's why, yeah. So let's say that we want to only repair, 10, like a gigabyte at a time. And we can go ahead and say we don't want to repair more than 1,000 times per table. We could do something like that. We could set that. And what we're going to do is we're going to split up your entire, at most 1,000 chunks. And the max size that we're going to be partitioning or like streaming over would be a gigabyte. And it does something in between. And we'll go ahead and start rotating through 10 concurrent repairs. And as soon as one repair is done on a certain portion, we will check your CPU, we will check your JVM, we will check to see how your cluster is doing. So if it's midday on Black Friday and you're getting a lot of traffic and your cluster is just not the healthiest, we will pause these repairs. We also know that your repairs have to be done by GC gray seconds time. So once Black Friday is over and it's nighttime again and people are asleep, we're going to go ahead and repair as quickly as possible. Still using that max concurrent time of 10, but we're not going to be waiting in between each of those partition repairs. So that way we could get you to that to being fully repaired by GC grace by GC grace seconds. If for whatever reason we're doing that math, it says, hey, we can't get you there. Your cluster's just been too busy. It's not going to happen. We will go ahead and send you an alert both here in state that it's not going to happen. And an alert here will be triggered over to your integration. So you'll get that PagerDuty alert saying, hey, like there's an issue, or maybe it's not that urgent, a Slack issue. Your repairs are not going to happen in time. But yeah, and then if you want something a little bit more manual, you could do that as well. You just want to repair once a week, you already have a certain process and you really don't want to move, or maybe something's finicky with your cluster. You can do that here too. You already know when your downtime is. You already know how long it takes. Totally perfect. But if you want to always have it churning, always going through, making sure everything's always consistent, I really like this option. This is what most of our customers use.
Okay.
And then David says, is it possible to do a snapshot without archiving immediately off node? Can one break it up? Oh yeah, definitely. So on the backups, I did go ahead and set this over here. I'm going to show it to you. Remote backups, but no, that's totally fine. So we'll just do an immediate backup of MC2, take off this remote backup setting, keep the data on your local disk for 10 days. We could exclude tables again if we want. We could do all the tables or some of the tables. Yeah, and we could go ahead and just kick that off. Oh, for some reason, it's not working, probably because I have a few settings down here set. Let me just take that off. Maybe refresh the page. But yeah, like that can happen. We did perform that earlier. Let me just see if perfect right here. Test it to make sure it could write to that snapshot directory. It can. Create that backup. And here you see that backup that happened earlier. Is no remote backup. And at the time it was okay, but again, this is a test environment that I'm making sure Cassandra works on. So yeah, we do have those notifications and probably another alert saying that we were able to back up locally, and for some reason, this is giving an issue on permissions. Yeah, and that's what I've been testing lately. But yeah, local backup completely fine. And can one break it up? If we're talking about breaking up by tables, yes. Yeah, so we could break it up by key space. We could break it up by table and by node. Yeah, so that's definitely possible. Chris asks, can you complete out of place restores within the UI? I think that's what I'm going to show in a little bit. But if you want to rephrase your question, just to make sure I understand what you mean by out of place, please, Chris. Conrad asks, what will happen if you have repairs running and there is schema change? Yeah, so repairs are going to be working the same way that your node tool like repairs work. So we're going to have just that transfer of files. If there is a schema change, so what we're essentially transferring are those SS tables. Once that partition is done, then we will look at any schema changes that happen and then do another set of transfers. So yeah, that should be gone for by the time the next partition happens. The same way that your node tool repair would work right now. Can I push that back to remote now? Make a local backup, then push it. Oh, gotcha. I don't think so. I don't think our tool supports that. No, our tool definitely doesn't support that. Let me just check. I doubt it though. Maybe if we change this, no, it's gonna be local retention policy. No, because yeah, now once it's backed up locally, it's only going to be backed up locally. Yeah, no, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm thinking even if our advanced tool has that ability. No, you could use our advanced tool to go ahead and if you do go and push that remotely, we can go and pull that back in. And then we could use our advanced tool to essentially use SS table loader to push that. So yeah, that would be possible that way. We would support you on it, but no, it's not available through the UI. If you want to push things remotely, you know, it's going to be done with that schedule. Conrad asks, can you restore a key space onto another DC through this? Yes, not through this UI. This UI is going to be restored. Let me show you. This is going to be restored pretty much using the exact same settings that were on that node with the exact same key spaces, but I will go ahead and show you how you can do that because that is something that a lot of people ask for. So, and then out of place, restore to remote cluster. Not to, okay, perfect. Yeah, so I understood the question. Thank you. Oh wait, correct. Onto another. Oh, onto another cluster. Yes, yeah. So that is like the final piece that we have time. I'll go and show you like a live demo on it. But yes, that is totally possible. And then can you restore a new target cluster? Yes, we can. And that's the next topic I was going to get to. So yeah, perfect timing for that. Any more questions as I move to restoring to a new target cluster or a new data center?
I think we've great question there from Harvey. Good to see you on with us, Harvey. Hope you're well. Yeah, so I think you're going to cover that now, aren't you? Restoring to a new target cluster, yeah?
Yep. I did see a question come in from David really quickly before I move on. This looks like it also replaces a replacement for Apache Reaper. True, correct? How does it integrate with Apache Reaper? It does not. Is there an API for automation of everything for this platform? Yes, there is. So yes, so Apache Reaper pretty much tickles all of the SS tables and triggers read repairs in the background to very cautiously and calmly repair your cluster because roto repair is a little bit heavy. Instead of us blindly, gently tickling all of the SS tables, adaptive repairs goes through and runs no-tool repair -PR. So we have just a partition range, and we're repairing token X to token Y. And we're going to stream that just the way, as aggressively as no-tool repair does. And after you're done with that one chunk of partition tokens, we're going to start now look at the next one. We won't start the next one unless, and this is what Reaper doesn't do, unless your CPU is relaxed, your JVM looks healthy, your memory limits aren't too high, you don't have a lot of thread pools backing up based on that compaction that is now happening because you now have new SS tables in different nodes. As long as all those things aren't happening and you're in a good state, we move on to that next aggressive repair, and we stream that data as quickly as possible, and then we wait for all that compaction and to that occur in your system to be calm, and then we move to the next thing. So yeah, it's a replacement for Reaper. It doesn't integrate with Reaper, but since you asked, we do have this AxonOps Ansible collection. I'll also send that in the chat. And what you're able to do is run Ansible against your cluster. We have a few tests here that I'm writing specifically for customers. So, backup edge cases, backup comprehensive. So take a look at that really quick. Update the same backup, change it to true, maybe change the backup key. So yeah, this is all possible, and this is how we recommend you also set up your alerts.
Just need to make sure that you've sent that link to the audience rather than just to the panelists there.
Oh, just my bad.
There's a couple I think you've got there. So look, whilst you're doing that, and
oh yeah, it's hosts and panelists.
That's it. And you're going to be transitioning to in terms of the backup location. We've got a quick poll. We can just gauge what everybody's doing on this level before we start diving in. So should we do that, Joaquin? Is that okay?
Sure.
We'll launch that quickly. Right. All right, let's launch it. So this is our third poll. So it's, by the way, this is a great masterclass. We're having loads of questions coming in. Fantastic. This makes it so much better when we get your questions coming in, because we want you to help drive what it is that you want us to share with you today. All right. So where do you back up your backups? Where do you back up your backups? Do you do that locally, S3, SSH server, Azure, or something else? And if you go for something else, just key in what it is. Let us know what it is. We'll be quite keen to see what that something else is. And we've got 25% actually are saying something else. So there we are, Joaquin. Nice. I'm going to end the poll. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds because we don't want to. We're time is running fast. Are you all done? Yeah. I'm going to end the poll. 3, 2, 1. Okay. I'm going to share the results. So where do you back up your backups? 25% locally, 42% S3. We've got nobody on the SSH server. We've only got 8% on Azure, but 25% on something else. And something else is on Node, SFTP, NFS, etc., etc. Thank you, David P, for that. There we are. So, but if it's anything outside of that, then do let us know what that something else might be. Joaquin, comments first, sir, on this before we stop sharing. Anything at all? Was that what you were expecting?
Yeah. Like I figured that there'd be a lot of people kind of wanting to store locally. That's if you're running locally. So that all sounds great. I'm glad people are remotely backing up. Locally is also a good option, because you have that replication factor, but it's always nicer to have even family photos remotely sometimes. So yeah.
Okay. All right.
Cool. Nice. Oh yeah, SV compatible. That makes sense. Thank you. Yeah. So, and then just to touch base, because I did find that you have configurations for alerts, and that's something. Oh, sorry about that. We'll have to fix that later then. Yeah, so we do have the ability to pretty much, it was a new change that just went in 2 weeks ago, but we do have documentation for setting alerts. So that way, all those alerts that you see, the ones that we recommend, the ones that we've seen over time at, since my days at DataStax and the last Pickle, like I actually helped write the Datadog Cassandra dashboard. So like that was me and a coworker, Alan. Those are all defaulted. These are pretty much here in our repo. So you apply those to your cluster and you have alerts set the way that we really recommend them. And I see David, local for parallel restore speed and remote for safety and disaster. Exactly. Yep. That's what we recommend as well. Yeah, so we are running a little bit short on time. So I'll just go through the slides instead of doing that live part of this tooling. But let me go ahead and fix that so it's a little bit bigger for everybody. So our tooling, it's the Axon Cassandra Restore tool, and this is available through all downloads. So even if you end up coming on board with AxonOps and you end up leaving for a different competitor, a different setup, we wanted to make sure that there was no lock-in, and that was very important for us because we don't like that personally as engineers, and we didn't want to have that be something that happens to you as well. So even after you leave, you can go ahead and very easily manipulate all the backups you've done through AxonOps. You can't, do new backups, but you can go ahead and still restore using this tool. And the way it does that is, for listening backups, we have all of our nodes sent to S3 or remotely SFTP servers, and our tool will go ahead and scan our metadata files. So that way it doesn't take too long. It's not scanning everything, just metadata files. And it reports back to you what backups are available. When you restore that backup, you're pretty much using that same tool to go and pull those SS tables down, and you can store that in one local directory. And at this point, that's where we would be at that question. I believe, yes, someone asked about it. If we could go and restore using SS table, like remote, or if you could do backups locally, then push them remotely. And if we support that, like restore from that, we don't. But you would pretty much come in at this point, where we would pull those SS tables back down from a remote server, and they would, as long as they're structured here, where we have our host UUID, key space table, then we're able to work with that essentially. Or we should, because we might be missing metadata files. But either way, this is what I was envisioning the place it would be at, and we could easily support that and add those metadata files locally as well if that's your use case. Yeah, that wouldn't be too hard. Yeah, so we do also support SS table loader. So in this specific case here, we go and zoom in a little bit because I realize that's a little bit small. 1 second. Okay, a little bit better.
That's better. Yeah, that's a lot better.
So in this specific case, what we'll do is use our restore tool. We'll contact our remote storage. We'll grab all those SS tables down. We do require your key spaces and your tables to be already set. If not, if you send a restore schema, we also store a copy of those of your schema at the time. All of that may have been the question that was asked earlier. Yeah, so we do store a snapshot of your schema. So that way, when you're restoring that, we can go ahead and restore that schema for you if that's what you want. And then once everything's local, then we can go ahead and run that through SS table loader. So maybe our target Cassandra cluster, which is a different cluster. Maybe we don't have the 10 nodes, maybe we have the 5 because it's for development or analytics. Yeah, we do support SS table loader streaming through there. And yeah, we stream all those SS tables, confirm that it streams back, and Axon Cassandra Restore says it's done. And again, back to that question, since we have that snapshot of your schema, if you do that -- restore schema option, and as long as you have a key space already created for us, then we will go and create all those tables within that key space. And then we go ahead and start streaming that data. So that's super integrated. And if we want to restore to a different table, we do allow that as well. So we'll just go ahead and pull that data. We go ahead and redirect to a different table name, and we'll send it over the cluster, and it's going to be streaming into it, and all the nodes will be getting that. Nice explain to yourself. Thank you. Local for pro speed. Perfect. Okay, that sounds great. And then yeah. So then the last thing that I wanted to cover, and I know we're really out of time, so we won't be able to do that live demo. Is essentially we can go ahead and do that same sort of thing we did before.
I'll tell you what we'll do, Joaquin. I'll tell you what we'll do. Something a little bit special. All right. This is I'm shooting from the hip now. All right. It's a bit of surfing country time now. Why don't we do Masterclass Extra, which is basically going to go over the hour, but we'll use that time to do this demo. So if people can stay on, they get the chance to see it. Means that we're going to eat into 10 minutes on unscheduled time. But look, if you've got the time you want to see it, we're happy to hang around, right? Is that okay, Joaquin? You up for that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, so don't go away on the hour because we're going to go into Masterclass Extra. We're going to show everything that we're talking about here. We're going to do it live. Walk the talk, Joaquin. That's what I like. All right.
Good.
Okay.
But yeah, so same sort of thing. We're going to go ahead and pull, our SS tables are being written, every 15 minutes or something. We're going to go ahead and pull that down. Since we do have those all bundled up in a snapshot, and since our commit logs are constantly turning, and if we want to restore it, 1020, we can go ahead and do that. For 1020 specifically, we would actually pull from write number 6, and then kind of trim backwards and say, okay, this is that last write that was happening at that time. So I should actually change that arrow. My apologies. But yeah, so the same sort of thing you see in point in time restore, we're able to do it with the tool. The reason why you would want to do that, maybe you have disaster recovery issues where you're all in one availability zone in AWS, and that availability zone is completely gone. We can go ahead and simply pop up new servers in a totally different part of the world and restore our data there. Dev and test, maybe it's a production issue. You're really trying, like sometimes we end up having issues and we don't really care and we treat our machines like cattle. So we could always do that and just kind of move forward. But if you really want to go and really debug and take that time, but also not change that data because you have to do a live restore for your production cluster, we can do something like this where we restore it into a different cluster and we take our time and really find out what went wrong. And production troubleshooting, which is mainly the same sort of thing, and for analytical purposes and stuff like that. Yeah. So just like to be shared. Yes, definitely. Yeah, we're going to share that out. Okay, cool.
We'll have the recording as well, so you'll be able to see it off the recording.
Yeah. So right now, what we're going to be doing is pretty much running through these pieces without the restart, because that's going to take a little bit too long. But what we do want to make sure is you have the latest AxonOps agent, or I guess a few versions back, and that supports these new features. So make sure you're updating. And we do need a full backup of the system tables. Once that backup does happen, we're able to go ahead and have a good snapshot for everything, which includes all of our schema. We do not restore your peers. And I'll get into that in a little bit, but we do have our schema, everything else that's needed, and you have commit log archive enabled. So what we want to do is stop all of our Cassandra nodes, and in order to do that, we want to go to, we don't need to do that because we're removing everything, but it's always just healthy, just always keep in mind, you want to flush all of your memory onto disk. We want to drain, which again flushes to disk and then stops all new connections. And then you actually want to stop that service. You could just run into Cassandra stop, but just always top of mind. And then you're going to want to delete all those files. And again, which is why flush and drain aren't important. We want to remove our commit logs, our data, our hints, our save caches. I've been in some clusters where we're trying to debug stuff and we're like, hey, let's go and start fresh. And we remove, everything except for hints and save caches. It comes back up and we're like, wait, this is not what we expected at all. So yes, always make sure all 4 of those directories are removed. And we want to change our cluster name. And this is super important. We cannot change our cluster name because that's related to our system tables. But it's super important to isolate that new cluster. Either it be a new VPC, have firewall protection on it, and that's also why we remove those peer tables, because if that cluster ever contacts the other one, it will now think it's part of that cluster. It's going to do this bootstrap process. It's going to be competing with tokens. When I was doing my own testing, it was that small step that if you miss, it becomes an issue. And that's why we went in, we were proactive on it and said, you know what, we're just not going to restore those peer tables because we don't even want them to even think about talking to each other. And that does help us a little bit, but just isolate your test clusters for sure. And when you restore, we're going to run that same tool that we've been talking about, and we're going to restore SS tables, and we're going to do it with the number of threads that as quickly as possible. Essentially, we're going to restore with table UIDs, so that way it's not just doing into a generic directory. It's going to be doing into a directory that's tied to those system table UIDs. Make sure owner's Cassandra. If you're not Cassandra, maybe you're running as root. Just make sure we're setting it the same way. No host directory, so that way we're not kind of collecting it for SS table loader. We're doing it specifically in this local SS table directory that would give it. And then, yeah, for commit logs, we want to go to turn that on. We want to restore commit logs. And you tell it where your commit logs are. And then once that happens, you turn on Cassandra. And as soon as you turn on, it thinks it's that exact same cluster down to the cluster name level. And as long as it's isolated, it knows nothing of it. And it pretty much assumes its identity within its own unique environment. But yeah, in
So
order to look it
Joaquin,
up.
I'm gonna just jump in because I know you still want to explain some things on the docs, but just conscious before anybody goes, we've got one last final poll. This is a very, very important poll because, of course, Joaquin, you've heard some great things from Joaquin today, and quite often a lot of our customers want that one-to-one kind of time to look at their environment. Maybe maybe you're 80% and you've got that backup, but you're looking at something different, and what you've seen today you quite like, and you want to kind of explore that a little bit more. But the fact is, maybe you just want a bit of one-to-one time with Joaquin. So we're going to launch a quick poll because if this is you, this is your opportunity so that we can follow up with you afterwards. So I'm going to launch the poll. Get ready. Here we go. One-to-one session with Joaquin. Would you like a one-to-one session with Joaquin to discuss your Cassandra environment or ask follow-up questions? There has been loads of questions coming in. There's a few more to get through as well. If you would like one of these sessions, we can arrange that for you. I'll do that over the next few days. Maybe you're interested and but you'd like to know a little bit more, or you've got some specific things that you want to talk about, then let us know on that. And maybe not this time, that's fine too. So just shoot that in if you would. That would be fantastic. Vote now. This is your moment. This is your chance. You could have up to 1 hour of free consulting. There we go. What webinars do you get that on these days? Not many. There we go. So, and we've got a few there. That's great. I'm going to just end the poll. So 2 seconds, 1 second, any more? That's it. Final gone. Right. Okay. We're in the poll. There we go. So a couple of people are keen to follow up, and we've got 4 that are interested and 1 that said no at the time. So there we go. Not a problem at all. Right. So, Joaquin, we're going to come straight back to you. Don't forget, we are going to go over the hour. We're going to show you what we've been talking about in a live demo. I want to just share very quickly, if I may, with you as well, this screen here. All right, so there's some useful links for you. Hopefully you can see all of that. We have another masterclass coming up on the 4th of March. It is literally hot off the press. We've not even told any, but you're the first people to know about this, all right? Apart from myself and the person that's doing it with me. And not even Joaquin knows about this, all right? So this is coming up on the 4th of March. It's not far away. It's not long away, just over a month. We are going to be covering AxonOps with Kafka. So if you've got a Kafka environment and you want to see some of the cool things that we can do by using AxonOps to monitor and operate your Kafka environment, that is a masterclass not to be missed. We talked a lot about AxonOps today and our tooling, and you've seen some of the backup, the adaptive repairs and the restores and the point of time recovery. How can you get this? How can you try it out? Well, you can register for our free licenses. It's not going to cost you anything to try this out. And you can see that we've got a link for that as well. You may also be interested in Workbench. I'm not going to go through these too much now. I'm going to just call them out. We've got our expert clinics as well, where you can book an expert like Joaquin, and you can come with your challenge or your problem, and you can have that consultation session. And of course, we do these masterclasses all the time, and I think they're all great, probably because I host most of them. But in all seriousness, I think they've really helped a lot of people. And if you want to listen to one, you can do that on demand. So there's a link there as well. There we go. That's my little piece over. I'm going to go back to Joaquin to finish off what he was presenting through, and then I think we're going to go into a demo, and then we will go for 10 to 15 minutes max. We'll still take your live Q&A as well. We'll do our best to answer your questions live. Right, thank you everybody for that. If you do have to go, thanks for joining. We really appreciate your time. Look out for the next one coming up soon. If you can stay, I know David's staying, but if you can join us and David P, we would love that to happen. So hang out for a little bit longer. Joaquin.
Perfect. Nice. Cool. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. I'm going to share. Hopefully you can see my screen.
We can, yeah.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, let me increase that as high as I can get it. Yeah, that seems about right. Yeah, so this is all coming from this set of documentation, and I will share this link as well with everybody. Um, and I can only message hosts and panelists, so this isn't going all the way across. If you could send over those 3 links to everybody, Steve, because I now see, yeah, I can only message them, like hosts and panelists. Um, but yeah, so I do have this documentation here. Pretty much this is inside of our documentation. We have a lot of AxonOps documentation. Just a quick little call out to platform data platforms. We're adding a whole bunch of good things. So if you want to get deep into how Cassandra memory works, we have a lot of diagrams, a lot of good information, a lot of anti-patterns too. So let's see, let's search anti-patterns right there. So everything that you shouldn't be doing, which is also super important, that's now all there, along with all the fixes and what could go wrong and why. But yeah, so inside of our documentation, inside using AxonOps under Cassandra Restore Tool, which is the special one, there's a little bit of setup. You need to install it first of all, and we do allow for these config files, which is a new tool or a new offering since 1095. So that way you don't have to type in this JSON command line because that's a little bit too much. So yeah, so we can go ahead and run that. Here's that listing of available backups that I talked about earlier. So yeah, just give it the storage config of where you're pointing to. So we can start reading those metadata files and your org that we're looking at specifically. And we could list that all nice, pretty format, or an uglier format if you really want to know what's inside of which tables are inside of each backup. We could restore the backup, and this is the way we do it. Everything that we just talked about on those diagrams. Restore with SS table loader. We're going to use SS table loader. We're going to use this specific version of SS table loader with these options. And import the schema. We'll restore the schema, and we'll use these username passwords with SQL SH. And then restore a different table. And we'll do everything we did before. We're doing that SS table loader, but we're also saying we're actually going to change that key space and table name because we want to run it in our cluster, but we want it on a different data center so we can do our analytics over there. That's possible. And then, yeah, point in time restore. This is what we've been talking about at the end, which is where we got the most questions out of, which is that new functionality that we added. Yeah, and exactly what I told you about, just not needed, but always good to keep it top of mind. We'll remove those directories, and yeah, we want these for these reasons, and this is our command essentially. So I'm going to go ahead and hop over into my terminal now. I'm going to run that really quickly. With a few different terminals. I think this is the one. Can you see me typing over here? Steve?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's going? Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to connect to our VPN because that times out a little bit quicker than I'd like. So let me pull this up. So I'm going to go into this node. Are we in? Perfect. And then I'll kind of show this one up. Come back into it. We do an ls, and there we see our masterclass backups number 2. So we could go into that, or how do I want to do that? Yeah, we'll go into that. So we have that's the organization name. I'm borrowing my my coworker's organization because it was already set up, so I didn't have to go through the backend and give myself special permissions as I do this test. So we have Sedio. We could run a quick tree. Let's do a level 3 on it. And yeah, this is our Cassandra as opposed to Kafka backups. Masterclass 2, that's the name of my cluster that we've been showing the entire time. And we have each of our nodes by our agent node ID. So let me go in there just a little bit further. So within there, we have all of our key spaces, and again, those node manifests. So those node manifests will tell us, actually, let me go a little bit further. Our node manifest will tell us this is our backup ID, and these are the tables that you want to pull down for restoring that. So we don't always, have separate backups. Just like Medusa, we're going to restore our SS tables since those are immutable. But if you're going to be backing up from here, I could go into that really quick. Let's see, let's pick 42 because that's the answer to everything. And we'll do node manifest. And we'll choose 53. And with that, there we can go ahead and see, yeah, we're going to be restoring this backup ID at this specific timestamp. And this is our schema. So whenever we're restoring that schema, we could pull that along. We just choose to run it or not. And these are the SS tables that we want to be downloading. Not all of them, and not just some of them, specifically these. So that's the way we store everything there. And now I'm going to come back over here. Let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and set this config file really quickly. So that config file is just going to tell us that we want to use the SFTP type of hosting environment as opposed to S3 or Azure. This is specific to this type of remote storage. Here's my host name. Here's the path that I want to be using, which is the same one that I showed up here. And then actually, is that the right one? Yeah, I believe that should work. And then the user is Joaquin, and my key is local. So now I'm going to go ahead and run that. So if I run this right here, this command. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out because we don't need that anymore. And we do have one backup that's stored, and this is the backup ID. So what I'll do is, just for a little bit of clarity, I'll give my backup ID. And then this is by agent. So I'm going to go through the UI and on my browser, I'm just going to click on, I could just show you. It's not too long. Sorry about that. Yeah, so inside of our UI, when we're in our cluster view, we click on this view, we can go ahead and click on this node specifically, or let me just hop back over here. We're on node 134. Yep, this is it. Perfect. Got lucky. And if you click on it, it does copy the clipboard, which is pretty convenient. So I'm just going to click on agent ID because that's what I need over here. So I'm going to come back. Oh, and again, the way to get to that is this view and just click 134. Yeah. Stop sharing. So I'll go to my terminal. I believe you all could see that. Yeah, that looks like the right one. And then agent ID, just for clarity, is going to be that. So what I'm going to be running is going to be that same command that I showed you earlier. We're going to be looking at, that does need to change mesh class 2. Change that over here because it's easier on the text editor. Cut that back. So we're going to be running with my config that we set up, my organization, this specific cluster, and the agent ID that we set up earlier along with the specific backup. We're going to restore it. Threads are 20. We're going to pretty much write it out into these files. Oh yes, at the time I do need to go run local grain. And since we are currently in Cassandra, if we go and kill the Cassandra process, that allows, or it alerts Kubernetes that the process is killed. So Kubernetes will go ahead and automatically restart the pod for us. So we can't go all the way over here. And I think that's probably going to have to be a little bit of change that we're going to have to do in our documentation, specifically for Kubernetes clusters, where we're going to have to leave Cassandra running so we don't invoke the Kubernetes daemon, I guess, to restart it at the very least. So we'll do node to grain without the stop. And let me go ahead and paste that back in. Oh, sorry. I was highlighting some things earlier. And searching for the backup files, downloading those backup files. I didn't do the truncating and the deletions. But yeah, we've downloaded those files locally. We've stored them very specifically where we should be storing them with those UIDs, because we're also restoring those schema tables, so it knows exactly where to look at. Restored all those files. It searches for commit logs from the time of the last backup that took place all the way to now. Or if you want to go ahead and set it to a specific time, you could go ahead and do that as well. And finds any commit logs that were written at that time. In this case, 0, because I'm still working through that Cassandra bug specifically with commit log backups, and restores those, lets you know, and now you're ready. And at that point, on Kubernetes specifically, we would do Cassandra stop. Where is Cassandra stop? Oh, you're right, because this is not service. We're at cast. And we come over here and with that PID, and within Kubernetes, that's going to go ahead and kick us out. But any other, and do that restart for us. But if you were running on your own server or EC2, that's where you would run service Cassandra start, and that would go ahead and start that up for you. But yeah, and again, all those commands, they're exactly the same commands that are in that documentation that we were looking at earlier. Yeah, just this, nothing different. But yeah, any questions on so far on anything I shared right now?
No questions so far, Joaquin, but we've got 3 minutes left, and then we're gonna make a wrap. We'll do a wrap.
That's good. But yeah, so that was all that I had to present as well.
Brilliant.
Pretty much the same sort of thing that that Steve had shared. If you have any questions, if you want to contact us or any of our previous recordings, that's all there and available for you in case you want to take a screenshot.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, look, we've still got quite a few people with us, so that's brilliant. Thanks for hanging in there. But I just want to say, look, a big thank you, Joaquin, to you, and for everything that you've been sharing with us today. And of course, a massive thanks as well to our audience. And if you're listening live, then great. If you've just joined us on demand, then thank you as well for listening. We hope that this session's been helpful. We've answered 33 questions, so hopefully we've put given some insight somewhere, which is great. And well, look, we hope to see you back again. And I'm just going to quickly show you my slide if you want, because on my one it's got the slightly updated.
Oh yes, definitely.
It's got the slightly updated webinar that's only, or the next masterclass, which has only just been released. It is there for you at the moment, 4th of March 2026. If you've got a Kafka environment, it's not one to be missed at all. Get yourselves along and see what we can do. Some cool features and tooling around monitoring and operating Kafka in a much easier and unified way. So that's what we'll be doing on the 4th of March. But I'll stop sharing and say my final goodbyes. Thanks everybody for joining, and we hope to see you again on March the 4th, and I'll be following up with you all as well afterwards. So if you did miss that poll early and you want to have a one-to-one with Joaquin, just let me know. Do link in with me as well. We'd love to keep connected on LinkedIn. But until next time, stay safe, be good, and hope you're doing okay and well with all your backing up of Cassandra. So thanks ever so much for your time, and Joaquin, I'll leave the final words to you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I did see a question come in with Conrad. And yes, that is possible as well, to restore a key space onto an existing cluster without dropping or changing the cluster name. What I showed specifically right now was within our docs, Cassandra restore tool, restore a different cluster. I was showing point in time restore. So that way we could have a point in time restore, and it just kind of in that disaster scenario, really, where we just need things up and running as quickly as possible. If you do have the time and you want to go ahead and do that SS table loader streaming, you can restore to a different table, in which case these are the commands. And we're going to use SS table loader. We're going to pull those down locally, and then we'll put it into these specific nodes, and we can go ahead and change our table name, our key space name. It does take a little while longer because we're reading that data, sending it over, and then having that kind of the new location properly place those partition keys on the nodes that are responsible for it. So yeah, definitely possible. But yeah, what I was showing was if you want it quick and easy, because it's exactly a 3-node cluster and a 3-node cluster. But yeah, if it's not exact, then yeah, we would need to use as a table loader.
Okay, all done. Brilliant, lovely. Okay, everybody, thanks so much. We'll see you hopefully on the 4th of March. Take care till then. Bye-bye.
Talk to you later. Bye.